10 psychological traps of the mind you need to know. Hey everyone, welcome back to Mindscape. Today, we're diving into something fascinating: the hidden traps our minds can fall into. These psychological traps can distort our thinking, influence our decisions, and even mess with our everyday lives without us realizing it. So let's talk about the 10 psychological traps of the mind you need to know and how they impact you. Stay tuned till the end because understanding these traps can seriously change the way you think. Number 1: confirmation bias. First up, let's talk about confirmation bias. This is when you only look for information that confirms what you already believe. It's like having blinders on. If you believe something, you'll naturally focus on evidence that supports that belief and ignore anything that challenges it. Let's say you're really into a particular political opinion. You'll seek out articles and opinions that support it, while ignoring or dismissing anything that says otherwise. And trust me, this can seriously limit your ability to think objectively. Number 2, anchoring. Next is anchoring. This is when the first piece of information you hear becomes the anchor for everything else. For example, in negotiations, if someone throws out a number, say for a salary, that number becomes your baseline. Even if it's totally off, it anchors your thinking. You're influenced by it, whether you realize it or not. Number 3, fallacy. Ever kept going in a bad situation just because you've already invested time, money, or effort? That's the sunk cost fallacy. You keep watching a terrible movie or stay in a failing relationship because you feel like you've already put in too much to quit now. But remember, what's gone is gone, and holding on to it can actually make things worse in the long run. Number 4, loss aversion. Now let's talk about loss aversion, the idea that losses feel worse than equivalent gains feel good. Imagine this: you'd rather avoid losing $50 than winning $50. It's a weird psychological quirk we all have. Losing feels worse than winning feels great. So you end up playing it too safe sometimes, missing out on opportunities. Number 5, the bandwagon effect. Then we've got the bandwagon effect, when people start adopting behaviors, beliefs, or trends just because others are doing it. It's that classic, everyone else is doing it, so I should too mentality. You've probably seen this with social media trends, fashion, or even political opinions. But just because everyone's jumping on the bandwagon doesn't mean you should too. Number 6, framing effect. Now, framing effect is all about how information is presented to you. The way something is framed can completely change how you perceive it. Let's say a medical treatment is described as having a 90% survival rate versus a 10% mortality rate. Even though both are technically the same, the way it's framed can influence your decision. Crazy, right? Number 7, overconfidence bias. Let's be real, sometimes we can be a little too confident, right? That's overconfidence bias at work. This happens when you're more confident in your abilities or knowledge than you really should be. Think about it. Maybe you skip studying for an exam because you're sure you'll ace it, or you take a big financial risk because you think you've got it all figured out. Overconfidence can lead to some pretty bad decisions. Number 8, availability. Here's one you might not know about. Availability heuristic. This is when we overestimate the importance of information that's easy to recall. For example, because plane crashes are dramatic and get a lot of media attention, you might think they're more common than they really are, even though car accidents are way more likely. We focus on what's memorable, not what's probable. Number 9, cognitive dissonance. Next up is cognitive dissonance. That uncomfortable feeling you get when you hold two conflicting beliefs at the same time. For example, you know smoking is bad for you, but you keep doing it anyway. To reduce that discomfort, you might start rationalizing it, like, oh, I only smoke socially, it's not that bad. But really, your mind is just trying to make sense of the inconsistency. Number 10, the halo effect. Finally, we've got the halo effect. When a positive impression in one area influences how you feel about everything else. For example, if someone is attractive, you might also think they're smarter or more capable, even if there's no evidence for that. This can cloud your judgment in hiring decisions, relationships, or even when you're picking a celebrity to follow online. And there you have it, 10 psychological traps of the mind that can influence your decisions and how you see the world. Being aware of these can help you think more critically and make better choices. Which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.